This is the Sacred Site Podcast, based off of the documentary series of the same name, True Tales of Megalithic and Pyramid Hunting and Finding the Hidden Truth of Our Past with your host, Loomis.
Hey, welcome back to Sacred Site Podcast. This is episode 2 and part 2 of Pila's Pyramid. I'm the host, Loomis, and check out the 12 plus years of material I have and many videos and much material for Chan It Down. Chan It Down is my primary podcast and most important thing that I have been working on for many years. But the most important to this podcast is the documentary series Sacred Site. I was talking last about Pila's Pyramid. I read you from the Secrets and Mysteries of Hawaii book, and this a small story within it is finding this pyramid. And Pila is an author that talks a lot about some of the energies of Hawaii. It's a bit new agey, but it's it's a good book, written in the 90s. So last episode I went over Pila's description of this pyramid, and then I talked about a bit of the history and exploration since, because my friend Zach Royer, ZachRoyer.com, has done 2 expeditions and they found nothing. And so that had been, around 2015, 16 time. But this pyramid has not just been spotted by Pila. I think if it was only Pila, I wouldn't have gone on the trail as much. I like his book, The Secrets and Mysteries of Hawaii, but he seems a bit new agey and flighty, and there are some things in there I'm like, I don't know, But there are many people who have heard of or seen it, and I read on the last episode a different description of a different pyramid that's probably nearby this area, but it's not the same one that Pila's talking about. Well, this time I'm just going to read to you a few things in the comments section of the article of I believe it's on here anyway. The comments of this blog that kind of give you a little more to work with here than just Pila's word. And so here, this is people talking here. Here's somebody right here, John Vidal Flores. He says, "Hey, I live on the Ka'u district of the Big Island, and weirdly, I see a shadow of this secret pyramid on my way to school, passing Whittington Beach Park and just before Punalu'u Black Sand Beach. You will see it just in front of Mauna Loa. It's kind of cool to look at. I've had someone tell me that it's located in Wood Valley, a residence above Pahala." All right, and then let's see what else we got here. This guy here says, "Hey, Zach, I live on the Big Island and happen to be a pilot. This is an old article, so I'm not sure if you made it out to the pyramid yet, but I can tell you that there are easier ways of seeing it than hiking. If you're interested in contacting me, contact me at blah, blah, blah." So, it's not, and there's other people too that have heard about it, not just on the article. There is other people in the area that have, talked about it, heard about it. My friend Seb, who I mentioned on the last episode, Seb Land, he has, again, I'll plug his Substack. It's called Sebstack, CEB Stack. All right, so he's a writer and a comedian, and it's just an all around great guy to be able to explore with and everything. So my friend Seb also met a Hawaiian guy who had lived in this similar area on a mountaintop nearby for many years, and he just wanted to tell Seb about his old dwelling spot, But when Seb asked him, "Have you ever heard of a pyramid in that area?" and the guy goes, "Oh yeah, that," as if it's no big deal. So, and Seb had also heard from some hippies who had went to it and said it was made of crystal, and it's like this is hearsay stuff. I mean, in Hawaii, we have a lot of hippies who have come here, and who knows what acid trip they were on, or, I sort of discarded that story. However, just the fact that they knew there was a hidden pyramid in the area, it's like, yes. And there are other people. There's somebody else that Seb knows that it's a husband of somebody, and he won't divulge where it is, but he knows where it is. So it's not just one thing in a book. So I wanted to start with my story and how I took the investigation from here, but let's go back into the pre-investigation a little bit and just say, there were again, just to reiterate, there were some German, actually were they Swiss? They were Swiss explorers that went. I think they were with National Geographic. Let me double check on that. I forget the. So Pila wrote. Sorry about being a little bit all over the place here. Pila wrote Zach, and just to go, why I haven't just written Pila and tried to get it from him. I've written him many times, but I'll go over that in a minute. Yeah. So last time a team of 3 I sent up there were actual Egyptian pyramid research from Switzerland, who had since published a new book on the Sphinx. I've never happened to cross paths with them again, therefore I don't have any direct feedback and haven't read the book yet to see if there is mention. So anyway, there was these guys sent. Zach Royer did 2 adventures with friends, never found it, and then we had a different description of a pyramid nearby, but in lava. So there's more than one. Okay. So, and I know that. So here we are at my story. My friend Seb told me about this pyramid, and that's when I came to visit him. And this was in May of 2024. And we went on the mission to find it, but it got rained out. It was a kind of a disaster because, it was a nice day before, and I figured, we're going to have good weather, and this sudden storm came in, and it was unrelenting, and the worst part of it is the pack that I had is older. It's supposed to be waterproof, but it wasn't, and it destroyed my camera and my phone. So I didn't even have contact to tell people I was safe after the hike or anything. And so, yeah, it was kind of a bummer. And so it's the thing is, it's truly hard to find something when you don't know where it is. All we have is vague clues and a vast jungle. I mean, the clues in Pila's book seem good enough, but there's definitely a lot of area that this could be in. If you've never been to Hawaii, specifically the Big Island, it's huge. I mean, obviously the name says it right, but my island, Oahu, could fit in the area that we're searching, just to give you perspective. And there's over 1 million people on the island that I'm on. So yeah, it's a big space. We're looking for a small thing. It's like a needle in a haystack. And it was kind of discouraging. We had got rained out. I thought maybe it was semi-accessible, and that I could just film it and put it in my documentary and be that simple. But was I ever wrong? And so that's when I decided to Google. When I got home, I got really into it. And the only thing I could find on pyramids in Hawaii was ZachRoyer.com. So I finally wrote Zach. I read everything I could about pyramids in Hawaii, which isn't much, right? It's just, a lot of bullshit, a lot of not much to really go off of, And before I was even on this mission, I actually was on a mission to see if something on this island was a pyramid. I even climbed the mountain here on Oahu that I had suspicion of being a pyramid in the meantime. And again, that's in chapter 2 of Sacred Site. So it isn't a pyramid, but it was the start of, I consider it the start of the journey. So actually the journey did start before Pila's pyramid, but so At this point, though, I'd climbed the Oahu Pyramid. I'd written Zach. I had emailed Pila multiple times, got ghosted. I mean, I think he's alive still, but maybe he just doesn't want to tell people where it is. He gives you clues. He talks about, logging roads and sugarcane. And, well, sugarcane's no longer an industry over there. So that's the thing. The sugarcane fields are gone. They've been replaced with things like coffee and macadamia nuts. But finally, Zach wrote me back. And he told me that he had sort of shelved that search for Pila's pyramid, but was still very interested. And if I wanted to meet him, he was coming to Oahu from Big Island for his latest book. I don't know if I said that Zach lives on Big Island as well, but that's where he lives. And his latest book was The Vortex Guide to Oahu. And you might want to check out Zach Royer's library of books. He has vortex guides to 3 or 4 islands and book about pyramids. And, he's right in the same vein of information that I'm in, okay? So we decided to meet at the Oahu Pyramid that I'd already determined was just a mountain, but, that sounded like a good place to meet. So we met there. Turns out we were basically brothers from another mother. We have all the same things in common. We're truth seekers. And so we decided, okay, we came up with a plan. Let's create a team combined with Seb, who they hadn't met yet, to find Pila's pyramid. I mean, could it be that hard? Could one man spotting it from the ocean, looking toward the mountains and finding it on his own, challenge a team? Can we find it? So we put together our group and we decided on a date. I think the date kept getting pushed back because, we're all, this is all stuff we're doing in our spare time. So we finally decided on a date, and it took a lot of preparation because we're going into a rainforest, a semi-rainforest. I think the area gets I think it can get 200 inches a year. It's a rainforest. So we, we needed to gear up because we're going into places with no trail, and we're going to spend the night. So we had to, get all of our gear intact. Took a little bit of time of getting all of our preparations ready. We scouted out the area we want to go, and that is where I'm going to leave you for this episode. We're on the search, and we're all ready to find this pyramid. Can we find it? Can we go where no one's been able to go yet? Can we find what Pila had found based on vague clues from a book? Find out next time on Sacred Site Podcast.